Hi, hello, welcome. So I found myself on the Christian side of TikTok, and I would like to talk about it. Because I might be traumatized, and I would like that for you as well. Understand the following might be triggering to people. It will discuss cancer, brain death, end-of-life thoughts, and religion. If any of those subjects are triggering to you, this might not be the video for you. Alright, so I'm going to show you a TikTok, and then we're going to discuss it. For copyright issues, I will be muting it, but I'm going to read the text out loud and cut in with commentary. My brother overdosed and was pronounced brain dead. Doctors wanted us to donate his organs. We waited a week, but there was no improvement, and we decided we were going to pull the plug the next day to help other patients. I was in the hospital with my brother the night before when these strangers came in and asked if they could pray for my brother. I said yes, because we needed a miracle. So they started praying and prophesying that he was going to be completely healed. They had no idea that we were pulling the plug the next day. I actually really don't believe this because I have been in hospitals. My mom recently passed away. That was a very long battle with COPD. And when you're in that kind of care where it's touch and go, most people on the floor know about it. I knew about other patients' families. And then when you add into that a religious organization coming in, a lot of them are told, go pray with these people because this might be the family's last time to share prayer with their loved ones. So I really don't believe that. They probably knew. They started to pray over me, saying things to me no one could have known. Things not even my closest friends knew. They told me God knew me and has been with me my whole life. They cold read her. The fact is, mediums and psychics aren't the only people who use this technique. A lot of religions do as well. And everybody should be wary of people who act like they know a lot about you without ever knowing you. It's not divine, it's a manipulation technique. In tears, I decided to accept Jesus into my heart. I said the sinner's prayer. Okay, so I looked this up. It's an evangelical prayer that you basically admit you sinned and you want to form a new connection with God. The next day, my brother woke up. We all know this argument's deeply flawed because it's anecdotal, and I would like to give one of my own. I stopped believing in God after my evangelical brother told me if I believed enough, I wouldn't have been hard, and that if I opened my heart to Jesus now, my depression and end-of-life thoughts would go away. I just looked at him and said, if that's God, I don't want to know him. And honestly, that was one of the best decisions that I have ever made. It actually helped me with my end-of-life thoughts because now that I knew that there wasn't an afterlife, I didn't feel the need to harm myself because this was my only chance to be here. And even though I still suffer with those thoughts, I haven't self-harmed. So the lack of God saved me. But that's the thing. It's my beliefs. It saved me. It's my personal belief. And that isn't a good argument against God or for atheism. Because it's my experience and my experience alone. Now let's talk about brain death. The brain is one of the most important organs we have, but also it is one of the biggest medical mysteries that we still haven't conquered. In that, brain death can be a hard diagnosis. We have changed our standards over the years for what encompasses brain death. The current standard is to establish the cause of a coma, monitor the patient for a waiting period to see if recovery is possible, inform patient's medical proxy, check if there is brainstem reflexes, run apnea tests, perform brain functioning tests. The thing is, even with all of this, misdiagnosis can happen. They estimate the percentage to be really low. The brain is a weird thing, and the tests you do to confirm brain death can be affected by your body trying to recover. It's a deeply personal choice of what to do with a loved one in this state, and it's something I wouldn't wish on any family to go through. But I would also like to remind everyone it's extremely rare for someone to be diagnosed as brain dead, then come out of that. If they do, it was misdiagnosis. And I don't like people painting it as not a misdiagnosis because it leads to hesitancy to donate organs. If someone lived after being brain dead, then why would Timmy's mom decide to let her child go? Why not keep them on a vent indefinitely until they wake up? It's also an issue because of how many people don't trust organ donations, and the panic around that is scary. Remember, misdiagnosis is rare, and being an organ donor means you or your loved ones saved so many people's lives. You shouldn't take one person's story as a blueprint of what will happen to you. Please listen to medical staff. They aren't trying to harm someone who is living just to take their organs. This was to put into context what I really wanted to talk about, the comment section and how vile it got. I will be reading out loud some of the comment section. I won't use names because these people are private citizens, but this is gross and needed to be talked about. Someone asked, so why didn't God answer my prayers? He doesn't answer many prayers. I don't get it. I prayed every day. Then someone replied, because sadly sometimes the answer is not the one we wanted. He's not a magic fairy or a genie that gives us what we want. That's the hard part of faith. Believing that whatever he chooses is going to be okay in the storm. I'm so sorry to your family. Hugs to you. The creator liked this comment. In my opinion, a comment that has no place to be given to a person who has lost their child. It doesn't provide emotional support or understanding. It's basically, well, God chose it, so live with it. It reeks of the same argument of God doesn't give us what we can't handle, which end-of-life rates would prove otherwise. Then we get into even grosser part of the comment section, the let's justify childhood cancer part. Someone commented, is that why he gives kids cancer? If he can make someone come back from brain death, he can save kids from cancer. Then someone replied to that person with, he doesn't give kids cancer, unfortunately. It's human choice to consume foods and live in the world we live in. Here's the thing, childhood cancer most often is genetic. When we're talking about cancer and how food could affect cancer, it usually takes a long time for food choices to affect a person. And it's an over-the-time cancer causer. So most kids don't get cancer from poor diet. Some children get environmental cancer from environmental contaminants, but the majority of childhood cancer is caused from genetic factors. So they're just wrong. And people in the comment section were saying, well, food alters your DNA. It does not. Food does not alter your DNA. Then someone commented, he goes with what he knows is right for us. Another gross argument for children dying, but go off, you know? Another person said, God doesn't give bad things to people. That's the devil. But that's also not true. I seem to remember many Bible stories where God was the bad guy, clearly. Someone else commented to the person who was trying to explain why these justifications are wrong and gross, that just know when you comment blasphemy, which you are, it will not be good on your judgment day. But I would like to ask them, is justifying childhood cancer a good look for you? Then it takes a turn into blaming the mother for poor dietary choices when pregnant. That's why the kid has cancer. That argument to me boils down to, it was the sins of the mother that caused the kid to have cancer. And I just find it so gross. Childhood cancer is mostly genetic. There is nothing that the parents could have done about that. It's disgusting to me that people can go around saying stuff like this and think that that's okay. If you're religious and you try to justify childhood cancer, God might not be real, but humanity is judging you for what you said.